What's up, guys? It's three-time NFL Pro Bowler, all-decade return specialist, Josh Cribbs. I want to welcome you to the College Sports Connection podcast, where AA Alex and AJ host the Mid-American Conference Best.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the CSC podcast. We are here at the Fox Theater in the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. I'm here with head coach of the Ohio Bobcats in his third year, Coach Tim Albin. Welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, Alex. I greatly appreciate it.
Great season last year. Let's just run it back and get into this season. Great season last year. A very defensive MAC championship game last year, a rarity in the Mid-American Conference, but then a great bowl win out in Arizona. Talk about building off of that and just, expectations have to be higher this year.
Absolutely. I'm on record last year saying, hey, going into the season, I really believe we have a football team that's going to be in contention. And we were. I didn't think we had a chance to win 10 games. There's no way I said that, nor would I ever. We stayed healthy for the most part. And got on a roll there, okay? And we were in contention.
Sure.
Didn't finish like we wanted, but back to the, part of your question on the momentum, I think anytime you get a bowl win, head in the offseason, it creates an excitement for your fan base, for our league, and for us to win the bowl championship,
sure.
As a league was great.
Sure.
And I was kind of tracking that. I watched the Buffalo game, close game. I watched the Toledo's game, against Liberty. And I thought, you know what, hey, this is going to come down to us winning, I think. Guys, I didn't tell the team that, but I told the staff,
Sure.
And what a game it was for us in the Arizona Bowl. But back, it's huge momentum. We got great leadership on our football team. It's my favorite time of year. Mm-hmm. It's camp. It's a new journey. And we're traveling. It's who you with any journey. I think the most important thing is it's who you traveling with.
Yeah.
Not so much the destination. We're traveling with some really really good guys and great teammates.
So, how do you build off of that? You got Curtis Rourke returning. That's huge. I think that's for any program to have a quarterback of his caliber. That's huge. Not only on field, that's big. But I imagine that has to be really big in the locker room just for morale and for team camaraderie.
Yeah, getting Curtis, I think he's on schedule. I think he's ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Coming off the ACL. He'll be starting the first game. I'm sure there'll be some rust that we're going to have to
Sure.
get. It's been a while, right? We're going to have to be smart with how we practice him in fall camp to make sure he gets the live work to get some of the rest off, but be smart with it, okay?
Right.
And then without question, building off of it, the number one goal for us as a program is, hey, all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, clicking together at the start of the season. We started last year. The offense was kind of rolling, scoring a lot of points, and
Sure.
the defense was kind of coming along, with Coach Nowinski and the scheme, playing some young guys. But come conference time, we had all three phases, and we went on once like 7 in a row, I think.
Yeah.
In our league. And so if we can start the year with all three phases, that would be a great accomplishment.
Aside from Curtis, obviously, some of the other key returners, who are you kind of relying on to kind of carry the team this year?
Yeah, I hate to start mentioning names because
Fair enough.
We return them.
Yep.
I just know that we've got an experienced group. I will pick an area that will be all eyes on. Hey, it's going to be the kicking and the punting. We've got great competition going into fall camp in those two spots. With us, in my mind, returning enough in offense and defense where we kind of know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we just got to avoid the injury bug there. All right. So, coaching staff wise, that we're going to be focusing on, hey, who's going to be handling the kicking chores, competition, and then the punt piece of this.
Sure.
Because you got a flip field position, then you got to get the points. How huge was the kick in the bowl game?
Yeah, that was massive.
Right?
Yeah.
And then with the 2-point conversion. It was a program win, offense, defense, but the kicking game was huge in that game.
And special teams are so underrated in general.
And they affect the game. And I think it's like there's 60 plays and special, or 40 to 60 plays and special teams in a game.
Yeah.
And so that'll be our focus as far as competition in fall camp.
Well, and I think losing Nathaniel up to Wisconsin. I mean, that's
Right.
But I think that's also a testament to what you guys built with him, right?
Yep.
Sure, 1 year, but look at what he did.
Right.
Look at the degree in which he performed and excelled. So I think that's a testament to not only you but to your coaching staff as well and the program as a whole.
Right.
So let's talk about this non-conference schedule. I've got it pulled up right here. At San Diego State. Not even to week 1, it's week 0.
Yep.
You guys get that first game of the year. I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah, I think the positive out of that's going to be playing early. There's some hurdles you got to go through to get that done, and we've done them. But it's going to give you some time in the season that you don't normally have. You're not playing 3 games in 17 days or 16 days.
Right.
We played 3 games in 12 days before. But you're going to get some breathing room where you're going to get a couple of 10-day opportunities to get a couple days off with your guys.
Yeah.
I think as a staff-wise, we'll have to be smart with how we keep our team fresh, not only physically but mentally.
Right.
Because we get some normal. You play week 0, so you got some more time of your 12-game schedule. So to me, that's going to be a big positive.
So you guys got the San Diego State game. I think that's going to be a great opportunity out west. Great opportunity to do some other activities while you guys are out there, I'm sure. And then you've got Long Island University at home, and you're down to Florida. Just seems like it's a back and forth. I mean, I'm literally looking at this schedule. You guys don't get any back-to-backs until October 21st and 28th when your Western's at home and then Miami's at home. That is the first time you have back-to-backs, and then it's back to the back and forth.
Right.
What a schedule. That's got to be rough.
I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. We're going to San Diego and we're going to Boca Raton. I mean, they're going to be great programs and great challenges. But our kids are going to get a chance to see different parts of the United States, and
that's so cool.
And we're going to take them one at a time.
Sure. I personally, as a MAC fan and a football fan, the one game I've got circled on my calendar is the Iowa State game. That's a big one. Former MAC coach coming back into the conference. I think it's his first trip back as a visiting coach. I mean, that's going to be pretty special.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. But obviously Matt's done a fabulous job, and that is correct in saying that. I didn't realize it was the first time he's traveled back into the league. But it's funny you say that. I mean, Brady Hoke's a MAC guy.
Yep.
We're going to see Brady.
Yeah, that's right.
And Coach Campbell at Iowa State. That's kind of cool. And we're playing Tom Herman. He was at Ohio.
Right.
He was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And Iowa State.
Right. It's unreal just how it's
right.
That coaching tree gets real.
It does. It really does. But that should be a great matchup, and we'll start thinking about Iowa State when it's week.
That's week 4, so
week 4.
At the end of week 3, right?
All I know is right now my focus is on San Diego State.
I love it. Talk about just really kind of what the expectations for the team are in general. Just obviously you want to be better. You want to 15-0, win a national championship. That's everybody's answer. What's with all these young guys who have this experience now. I mean, how big is that for your depth for the program moving forward?
I think it's instrumental. I really do. Because with any season, there's going to be you're going to have bumps and bruises, and you're going to have injuries. We saw it. I mean, Curtis Keith Thompson went down in the first series of the MAC championship game. Neither one of those guys. Hagen, Missouri, we lost him for the bowl game. Didn't have any of those 3 guys.
Yeah.
It's next man up mentality. You're going to have those, and so the young guys on the team and the experience they gained. Hey, look. We need for you guys to take the next step. All right, we need that sophomore surge with the young guys that were freshmen that played for us, last year, because we're going to go through some things that we went through last year, injuries or whatever, and we're going to need those guys to be ready to go. So it's all encompassing. There's. We're not going to put all of our eggs like, well, this is the year we're going to stay healthy.
Right.
We got a plan.
Right.
And so hopefully it plays out in our favor with the injuries. But if we have them, we'll have guys ready to go.
Sure. You guys brought in a couple wide receivers from the transfer portal. I've got the list right here. Jalen Hammer, the JUCO transfer, and then Christian Hilton from the Citadel. I mean, what are you expecting from them in terms of just valuable leadership and experience at different levels?
We graduated James Bostic, out of the room, and I know Jalen's going to help. We'll see how the room plays out, but we've got, I think, probably as deep as we've had in my time, and we've had some really good receivers there.
Yeah.
I mean, Dwayne Dixon has been there a long time. We've had a couple guys drafted, like, I don't know, double-digit free agents from our in my time at Ohio University. This will be our most talented in depth-wise. I don't know if we don't have that guy. We don't have that first-round guy. I'm not saying that, but we've got, some solid guys in the room. So, with Curtis back, CJ's back, Parker Navarro's back at the quarterback. All three of those guys are going to have their degree. I mean, Curtis and CJ have already got their degrees, and Parker graduates this summer. So you got some older quarterbacks with that group of receivers, and we return all the tight ends.
Yeah, that's big.
We got to come on, running game and play action, and let's have some fun.
I love it. No, Coach, anything that you want to give our fans at home? We've got Ohio listeners. I know we've got listeners from all over the MAC. Anything you want to give to them at home about the program?
This will be my 19th season coming up. Been in the league a long time.
Okay.
I'm going to make a prediction that this year in our conference, this is going to be the most exciting one of my time. And
okay.
It's going to be a fun one. I think there's 8 to 9 teams that could win it. Sure. I believe that. I truly believe that. With what's returning, there's a lot of quarterbacks left. A lot of quarterbacks that are back. Yeah. This is a quarterback-driven league, and it's going to be great for the fans. It's after this thing's all over. Wow, they're going to be like, wow, that game on that Tuesday night. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I got one more question for you. You mentioned you're 19 in the league. You were on staff for the Penn State Ohio game in 2012, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
How cool was that experience?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It really was. The Penn State game, we've beaten some other, Illinois, Kansas. Yeah. We've had them, and that's hard to do. In my time, you look at, we did a study, MAC East and versus some of the Power 5, and our record's not very good. But the ones that we do have, Ohio's got a few of them.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
We do our daily Maction moment this summer, and that one was end of last week, and so I'm like, I got to ask Coach about that. So, Coach, thank you so much. Looking forward to watching the Bobcats this year. I'm going to be out at Peden this year. I'm trying to hit all 12 stadiums, so I'm a little ambitious here, but I'm looking forward to coming down to Peden, hanging out with you guys, and cheering the Bobbies on to victory.
Alex, thanks a lot for having me on.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the CSC podcast. We are here at the Fox Theater in the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, from the Miami University RedHawks. We are here with Coach Chuck Martin. You've been in Miami for a decade now.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's unreal. How's it feel to be back?
It feels great. It's kind of exciting. The season's not too far away after media day, so you're excited to get going.
Sure. Let's just dive into it. You guys have quite a schedule this year, starting with that non-conference, a unique one. I think one a lot of people are looking out for. Miami versus Miami. Yeah. How cool is that to get to play that game?
Yeah, no, it'll be cool. It'll be a nice trip down to Miami, Florida for our kids, and it's a Friday night game, which I think it'll be an awesome venue. And again, we've played just about everybody in the Midwest, from the Ohio States to the Michigans to the Notre Dames. You name it, we've played them during my time, but we haven't really got out of the Midwest. So this is even though we've been here a decade, it's a unique trip to go down to Miami, Florida, and experience that. And so it's something I know our kids are really looking forward to.
Any kind of storylines there other than it being the battles of the Miami, I think is what a lot of media people are kind of calling it. Anything unique about this? Is this like the first time you've actually coached against Miami, or what's anything special with this one?
Yeah, no, I coached against them a couple times in Notre Dame. We beat them in the Sun Bowl, and then we beat them at Soldiers Field.
Okay.
In a Shamrock Series game. So I've gone up against obviously different teams, different times.
Sure.
But and with a different team, obviously, too. So I have coached against Miami, and last time I was down there at the stadium that we're playing at, we lost Alabama in the national championship game when I was the OC at Notre Dame. So I don't have exactly great memories. They took us behind the woodshed pretty good that day, so it was a great memory to be in the BCS national championship game. Obviously, that's a pretty cool experience. The result of the game was not a pretty cool experience. So.
No, that's totally fair. Let's talk about this team that you're bringing back. I mean, you guys got a lot of returners this year. On offense particularly, how good is it for you to have your quarterback back?
Yeah, no, and back and healthy. And We had high
Healthy's
hopes,
the big one.
high
Yeah.
hopes a year ago, and kind of got derailed early. We broke his collarbone in the first game against Kentucky, and we were having a great game against Kentucky. It was our kids were playing their tails off, and it was 13-10 at half, and then ended up they pulled away a little bit in the end, but then Brett got hurt and kind of put a cloud on the season. Really, it was when you lose your go-to guy who's been a 3-year starter in game one.
Yeah.
So tried to come back, probably came back a couple weeks too early. But he's such a competitor and has such a will to try to be out there for his teammates and wanted to be out there. And he probably would even admit he was probably not quite ready to be back.
Sure.
Mentally as well as physically. So it was just a frustrating year from that standpoint. I was telling you last year was one of the most frustrating years because I thought I had a really, really good team, and you lose your starting quarterback, and then you're not, you're certainly not as good. That's why he's your starter. But then it was so rewarding because I didn't know, we really struggled scoring, and every game was in the teens and low scoring, and and then our kids just kind of found a way to get to 6-6 and get us to the Bahamas Bowl, and had a great experience there, and we ended up being a yard short there on the last play of the game. But I didn't really think we would get that many wins when we lost our starters, so it was frustrating because I think we could have won 9 or 10 games if things would have went differently, but I also think we could have lost 9 or 10 games after we lost our starters. So, but the guys come back. We got a lot of guys back on offense. We also have some new faces on offense that I think are going to be major contributors. And we got a lot of guys back on defense. Last year we had a huge transition on defense, but, we have our top 8 D linemen back. We have, 5 of our top 6 linebackers back. We have all our top safeties back. We have all but one of our corners back. So we not only have a lot of starters back, but we have almost all our backups back at a lot of positions. And in our league, depth is hard to come by in the MAC. And then, too, also, we all get beat up. I mean, trying to stay healthy in this league is so hard.
Right.
So having depth is critical, especially in that last third of the season. So we really feel like we have a really deep team of a lot of guys that contribute and help us win games.
Well, and you talked about having guys coming back. I mean, talk about Avion Smith stepping in last year, with Brett going down. Like, how big was that for you guys to get him experience to potentially take over this team next year?
Yeah.
Ideally, hopefully Brett stays healthy this year, but, for the future, how big was that?
Yeah, no, Avion, some ways just saved our season, really. So unproven, untested, young. We knew there was good raw materials there, but he had not played and had no game experience, and he gets thrown into it and responded, competed his tail off for his teammates every second of every game. We didn't throw the ball as efficiently as we would like when Avion was in there, as efficiently as Avion would like. He ran really well. He improved as a passer as the year went on, and right down to, the last throws of the season. So, but the kids really loved playing, loved having him as their quarterback, rallied around him, even though we struggled to score points like we probably would have if Brett was in there. Our kids still rallied, knew that Avion was competing. So he had a really good, redshirt freshman year and has a lot of experience now under his belt. And certainly we feel like we can use him in certain situations because now we know he can do it and play and do things. So I think he can also help us win some games this year.
Sure, yeah. No, I think that's so big to have a quarterback who, even as a backup, has that experience. And, I mean, there's so many things you can do with the playbook now. You're like, hey, we know what this kid can do.
Yep.
Let's throw him out there and have some fun. You guys had, and, I've got the list right here. You guys had quite the transfer portal haul this year. Looking at guys, Gavin Levarden, you've got Cade McDonald, these wide receivers, Joe Wilkins. And you talked about Kentucky. You got the offensive lineman John Young from Kentucky. How big is this for you guys to have these quality pieces come into the program, even through the transfer portal?
Yeah, the transfer portal is just like high school recruiting to us. There's just another group of kids that are available, and sometimes there are kids from lower levels that maybe you didn't know about or you overlooked, and then they're getting it done, or there's kids from upper levels that you didn't really have a chance to get, you knew about.
Sure.
And had interest from some of the SEC or Big Ten schools and put you in a position where you didn't really get a chance to recruit them. So we brought some kids. Obviously, none of those kids have played. I always talk about transfers like I don't really count on any of them because it's just hard in the transfer, particularly your first year. I think year 2 is a better time for the transfers to really settle in and find their way. But last year last year on defense, there's a bunch of kids that played for us that were really good players. So we kind of knocked it out of the park last year with our transfers. Toughest thing is trying to find kids that fit Miami and try and find kids that fit the kids that are already in your program. You know, the kids in our program are sacred to us. The Brett Gabberts, the Matt Salpeks, the kids that are here today, and the Austin Ertles and the heart and soul of our football team, they deserve to be around great kids. And so we try not to just chase talent and throw anybody in our locker room. We try to make sure we put the right kids in our locker room. And then also Miami's a unique place and a unique university and a high academic place and a place that, I would say it's not good or worse than other schools. It's just different. So you're trying to find kids that fit the culture of your university that are going to come and fit in and go to class and want to get the Miami degree. So we've done a good job the few years the portal's been around of finding not only talented kids that can help us win games, but also finding kids that fit in at Miami University and also fit in with the players already in our program that have built our program. So, but we're excited about some of the newcomers you mentioned, some of the wires you mentioned, John. There's a few kids on the defensive side of the ball too that I think can get in the mix and compete and try to help us too. But it's interesting time with how the fluidity of rosters, and you kind of look at your roster in December and you look at it in May and you try to make quick decisions and see what's available, and that's just the way it is. Now you lose some kids and then you got to replace some of them. And again, I always say if a good kid that I like leaves, it's very sad and it doesn't feel great, but it also creates an opportunity to bring another new kid. The kids we brought in last year, we love that are in our program. They love being at Miami. So there's a definitely give and take there, just like the commissioner was talking about earlier, like change is good and change is bad. And that's kind of like the transfer. Like it can be good, it can be bad. Like it's not one. Depends. You lose a good player, it's bad. You lose a bad player, it's good.
Right.
You bring a guy in, he's not good. That's not good. You bring in a guy, he's good. So we're just kind of rolling with it, like Mr. Steinbreck was saying. We're just kind of flow with it and make the most of what we have.
Now, with in regard to those, I've talked to other coaches about the transfer portal and things like that. In regards to kind of scouting a kid who's in the transfer portal, do you have? Is that a lot easier for you than it is like scouting a high school kid? And I feel like scouting's the wrong word, but looking at high school kids, is it easier because you're like, hey, this kid from Alabama is trying to transfer? Nick, what's the scoop? Now, do you have those conversations with those coaches or like their coordinators even?
Usually, it's usually not Nick, but usually it's
Fair enough.
One of your recruiting guys talking to one of their recruiting guys. It just depends. It's just like every recruiting. Every situation is different. If the kid played at all at a certain school, it's not that you got college tape. Like, you're like, last year we took Frizz McKee from Mercer, and we had college tape. It was at Mercer, but we had game tape. Like, if you can evaluate it, in my opinion, wasn't a tough eval. I thought he was a really good player. He came to us, he was a really good player. But then there's other kids, like you mentioned, some of them, and they haven't played at. So now you're looking at maybe practice tape.
Right. Which doesn't always tell the tale.
Right. And again, is it scout team? Is it what is it?
Right.
What's the tempo of the drill? And then you're going back to high school tape, and it's like, okay, well, he played at a Power 5.
Sure.
So he's probably been in a pretty good strength program. He's probably, there's some things that he should be better than that high school player, but we don't really have any tape beyond high school. So those are interesting. So in that case, it's not as easy as a high school guy. You're like, okay, he's been out for 2 years. How much has he grown? How much is it?
Sure.
Now you're calling coaches. If you know a coach at the school, it's wonderful. No, not like kind of no.
Right. You actually know them.
Or are they just trying to transfer the trash? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Oh, yeah, you guys should take them to get them off our books,
right.
So you got to be careful who but you're trying to get that information. So
sure.
it is interesting. It's sometimes you think but you never really know in recruit until you put the pads on and get them at your place.
For sure. Well, Coach, you guys kick off the season again at Miami. Looking forward to it. Going to be cheering you guys on all year. Excited to see what you guys bring to the table. Excited to see a healthy Miami this year. That'll be big. Any last words for any of the fans at home? Anybody listening?
Yeah, no, we're just excited. We got a deep team. We got a good team. I said we'll we'll be a tough team to beat this year. That's for sure. I'm not saying we won't get beat. I'm just saying we're not going to go down easy. I know that.
I love it. Thanks so much for your time, Coach. I really appreciate it.
All right, thanks.